Hi, it's Kirby Summers. It is Saturday, December 14th, and this is a bonus episode. It is brought to you courtesy of all of the wonderful people who have contributed to my work via the new feature I have, the Super Thanks chat. This is going to be on, and I'm going to have to spell the name, on Sean Combs' connection to BILL space GATES, which has been sort of making some, it's sort of been trying to come to the surface. Here's what happened. I was looking at old photographs of some of the parties hosted by Combs. And I noticed one of the sponsors being Microsoft. This is a company that we know very well. Uh, what I want to do, however, before I get started, and I'm going to see how much information I can share with you here. Uh, but today I have notes because although it's just shy of 7 o'clock in the morning, and I did have my cup of Java, there are different themes I might include here since this is a bonus episode. It's the holidays. Why not give you guys a bonus episode? But in particular, I do want to thank one person whose generosity and whose very nice contribution via my website, Angelia, who has been supporting my work for a very long time, I believe on all of my platforms. Her contribution was so generous that I can do this today. And so we can say that this is sponsored by Angelia. And Angelia, thank you for always being there for me and commenting and sort of bringing up really good subjects. So, while there was an article, and in fact, I'm going to leave a link below my info on the description part of this so that you guys can go read the article yourself. On October 20th of 2003, there was an article that Xbox, Microsoft's future generation video game system, today announced that it has teamed up with hip hop mogul Sean P. Diddy Combs. P. Diddy will lend his voice for a series of upcoming commercials slated to air in time for the holiday season. Remember, this is back in 2003. Xbox new 30-second spots will feature P. Diddy telling gamers they can race an Enzo Ferrari in Project Gotham Racing 2, face their fears in Grabbed by the Ghoulies, and laugh at gravity in Amped 2 together on Xbox. Project Gotham Racing 2 and Amped 2 both take advantage of Xbox Live, the ultimate online gaming experience, giving people the opportunity to play and talk with other gamers around the world, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. P. Diddy was the perfect fit as our first celebrity voice. He became their first celebrity voice. This is one of the most largest companies in the world, owned by one of the wealthiest people in the world. And the reason I am doing this, and I will get back to the article in a second, is because there's a lot of pushback. It's even on the SNOPES website, which I have to tell you uh, is meant to distract your focus. And if you have listened to my podcast of yesterday, you will understand what I mean by that. Okay, I'm going to continue with the article because this is a real thing and it actually happened, and they did have a relationship, a working relationship. However, let's see what happens. So I'm going to take up where P. Diddy was the perfect fit as our first celebrity voice became because he embodies the same spirit as Xbox, said Xbox Director of Marketing Don Hall. Now, here I want to say that I looked up Don Hall's credentials, and in addition to working with and for Microsoft, he also worked for, let's see, because I really want to get everything, every last bit of information here for you guys, because he worked for, and again, bear with me, because I went to his page where he was, I may have put it somewhere else, but okay, if memory serves me well, he worked with the television um, channel ABC. What I wish to bring to your attention or remind you of is that the three original channels, which in the United States were ABC, CBS, and NBC. Again, I'm going to have to bring up the church committee hearings of 1975, where it was discovered that the CEO, Sig Mickelson, of CBS at the time that he took over in 1954, he said while he was being interrogated by the Frank Church, who was the head of the commission and the committee, that they had a standing by the time he became the CEO, and he had been with the TV station, I'm going to call it, for a time, but he went up the ranks, and by the time he became CEO, he knew that there was an understanding between these TV stations and the three-letter agency, so that the man who actually helped to write this and to give the information to the two newspapers. I mean, this was run by several newspapers. They're no longer around. There's one that's still around. Again, I'm going to link that below for you to read, but the person who provided this information was at the time a man by the name of Don Haldbrand, who, yeah, I mean, he was at the time the director of global brand marketing for Xbox. He was an advertising and brand lead for the Microsoft office for a 6-year period of what he called sustained growth. He had 30 years in marketing and communication management, and he had, quote, a proven track record of managing consumer insights, brand strategy, and creative expression, as well as integrated marketing strategy and campaign management for major global brands and consumer and business markets. So I'm going to go back to the article. And I may do this intermittently because I'd like to fill you in. I think most of you now know that I slice between the layers, and that's where I go. I go into the nooks and crannies of things, and while I'm saying that, give this a like, subscribe. All right, thanks, guys. So Don Hall basically said, and it's written in this article about Sean Combs, which at the time was using the name P. Diddy. He's multifaceted. He's made a significant social impact and pulls millions of people together in a positive way with his powerhouse talents. I'm proud to be the voice responsible for connecting millions to the Xbox brand, said P. Diddy. I love playing Xbox games and believe that the system's cultural influence as a social entertainment brand has only just begun. So again, I was looking at some of the photographs from one of Combs' white parties and noticed that the sponsors of a party, I believe celebrating his 50th birthday, was indeed sponsored by Microsoft. Okay, and I kind of like paused at different places, so start getting used to the way I deliver my message here. And again, I am going to uh, leave a link below so that you can see this article. Now, the pushback on the article is that it really didn't happen, that there is no such article, that it is just an unfounded claim that music mogul Sean Diddy Combs once called Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates his hero. This information was referenced in a 2003 article published by technology news outlet Neowin, which cites quotes allegedly made by Diddy at a press event conference held on February 6, 2003. So during the event, Diddy reportedly mentioned Gates as one of his heroes, which also included Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, and Ralph Lauren. Now, I did find that article. And again, I will leave the link to that below because they're claiming that article did not exist. It was originally in a Reuters article, and the caption on it was P. Diddy names Bill space Gates as his hero. And the article starts, what do Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Bill Gates, and Ralph Lauren have in common? They are all heroes of hip-hop impresario Sean P. Diddy Combs, who announced on Thursday a new 3-year marketing and distribution deal for his Bad Boy Entertainment label with Universal Records. So Bad Boy with Universal Records. And then world heavyweight champion Ali and basketball player Jordan had strong work ethics, Combs said in an interview with Reuters, who he said he admired their passion and their commitment. Now, he was referring to Jordan and Muhammad Ali. They didn't just want to be one of the players. And I don't want to be just one of the players. I want to be great, he said. Combs has built up an empire with nearly $300 million. Transferred into pounds, it's 183 million pounds in annual sales, and is renowned for his extravagant lifestyle. Combs, a music producer who has his own fashion line, Sean John, said he admired two greats in his twin fields of music and fashion. Motown producer Berry Gordy. And by the way, when I had to flee my home in New York after I was held against my will, there's a word that starts with a K that will describe what happened to me, and I was able to escape on the 5th day, and I escaped to Los Angeles, where some of my friends had already moved. We were out at a club one night, and I met the person who worked alongside Berry Gordy. It's I have his name written somewhere, so but even if I yeah, I'm not going to mention his name even though I still have it. Well, he struck up a conversation with me, and And basically, it was just before the Grammys. And he handed me his card, and indeed, he worked with Berry Gordy, and he told me he was the number 2 guy. He was an American Greek man, and although I spoke with him on several occasions and I did have dinner with him, I declined his invitation to go to the Grammys. It was, I was still somewhat shaken because of what happened to me. It was not long after I arrived in LA that somehow Berry Gordy's right-hand man somehow bumped into me at a club. I will never know, because I met a lot of very unusual connected people when I escaped to Los Angeles. I will never know if these were intentional placements into my life. I'll never know, or if it was some random fluke of nature or just a coincidence. But I did meet Berry Gordy's right-hand person that said, my abuser is the person whose best friend made Thriller with Michael Jackson. And I think you know what those names are. Okay, so he goes on. I'm going to go back to the article. So he's singing praises to Motown producer Berry Gordy and designer Ralph Lauren, who reinvented the Ivy League preppy look for the masses. GATES, founder of software maker Microsoft, was an entrepreneur who had built his business by himself, Combs said. He wasn't handed it down from the family. That's where he is wrong. I have several articles on my Substack. That's where I keep my articles, my deep dives, where I do explain um, the Gates lineage. And by the way, the father of GATES was the attorney of BLACK space CUBE, the attorney for that company. So, and there is generational wealth. So, although the way that this article makes it sound, maybe Combs did not know, or maybe GATES misrepresented his beginnings, but he does come, meaning the person who created the M company, from multi-generational wealth and other things that you could read about on my Substack that I really cannot do here. So he said that he said that he didn't get his money from, let's say, his parents or grandparents or great grandparents, which is really not true, not the case. Um, and then he said Universal. The article goes on to say that Universal Records, it's part of the entertainment arm of the media and utilities giant Vivendi Universal. So the pushback against this connection is that, and this is found on a lot of different, the propaganda arm, right? So, and I'm going to read one of these things. However, the claim that the hip hop producer once referred to GATES as his hero lacks direct supporting evidence from major media outlets. Well, no, it doesn't, because I just read to you 2 different articles from at least one of the ones that have not been scrubbed, that the links are going to be below. So there is substantiating information. And there's more. So stay tuned. I've got more tea to spill with you. And thus far, the article goes on to say that is pushing back against these statements. Thus far, attempts to locate the full transcript or video recording of the alleged February 2003 press event where Diddy apparently made his statements have been inconclusive. The social media claim is based on a single article from Neowin, which did not include quotes from other media outlets. While the Neowin story referenced Routers as its source, a search through the news agency's archives failed to turn up a corresponding report, direct references, transcript, or video footage to confirm Diddy's remarks about GATES. Now, I do want to, I'm going to stop because this is just continued pushback to deny any kind of connection. I also want to add that there have been other collaborations. In 2002, they teamed up, the person we've been talking about, Ann Combs, for the Staying Alive benefit concert in Cape Town, South Africa, aimed at raising AIDS awareness. And Diddy performed at the event. It was later broadcast by MTV with funding, again, by the Bill and Melinda Foundation. And the event was held on November of 2002, and it was part of a larger campaign. Now, it goes on because the following year, Diddy was heavily involved in business ventures beyond music. And it goes on to refer to the partnership with Microsoft to promote the Xbox gaming console. So apparently the collaboration between these two people began before 2001. And then it goes on to add that GATES does not have a direct involvement with either UMG or Warner Music Group, the major music corporations that had at various times inked separate distribution deals with Diddy's now independent Bad Boy Records. However, in 2012, Gates' digital content company, it keeps reinforcing, so that while there are articles pushing back that any of these collaborations were true, and it says, well, they can't find direct evidence. There's actually stuff that I will again include below. I just want to bring your attention to the fact that, by the way, if you haven't liked, it helps the algorithm. So I have several articles about the GATES person, because you know that it was brought up in the EP situation. And although the New York Times incorrectly reported that they met in 2011, I wrote a series of articles showing that that was not the case, that in fact it happened earlier, and there were different ventures connecting back to the Maxwell family that I discussed on this platform yesterday. That said, Gates' co-partner in creating Microsoft, whose name I'm not going to mention right now, but you should know who the co-founder of Microsoft Space is also before his death, end of life, was a partner of my abuser directly. They worked on something called charter communications. And while there was a period of time where there was a lot of information on charter, there's now a small amount of information linking the co-founder of M with my abuser. And it claims that he invested a lot of money with my abuser and that in the end he lost it all. The way that works is there is a transfer of money out. The billionaire mindset is that companies should go bankrupt. And I discussed that somewhat in one or two of my podcasts here. But deeper than that, I really can't go on this platform. There is something that the GATES person worked on, which is a replica of, let's call them little humans, but it's not made of flesh and blood. It is actually a robot. And the robot, again, looks like a minor person, and it is for the purpose of what we have been discussing. And not a lot of people, know about this or have dug this information up. And maybe you don't even know what I'm talking about. But it's used when men want to have some private time with someone who is not a grown person. And so there are now these special DOLLS, AKI robots that are especially for this group of P people. Now, so apparently there's a P market ready to buy these, I'm going to just call them dolls. And there's a lot more stuff that I wish I could share with you here, but I cannot. I want to thank, again, everyone who takes the time to like the podcast, everyone who takes the time to leave a comment, everyone who has suddenly started to contribute to my work via my super chat or super thanks, I think, because I don't do a live recording. I pre-record, and that's the only way I know how to do it. I don't know how to do it the other way. I'm going to spend some time and try to figure out how to do this better. This is new for me, and I hadn't been uploading as much content as I'm doing now. I want to thank those of you who have been following me for many years, and you're still here, and you show up almost every time I upload a new podcast. Those of you who are new to my channel and just getting accustomed to hearing someone break it down, layer by layer, I peel off the layers of that big onion. And the comments that came in yesterday were really uplifting. I had to do some stuff. I was not able to really read anything until just before doing this specific podcast. On that note, I will say, if you want to do the super thanks, the platform, this one that we're on, keeps 40%. The institution through which it's transferred keeps another 9-10. However, if you want to bypass that and do it through my website as a one-time contribution, that would be greatly appreciated. It keeps me on track. And also I get to keep, about 90%. I'm going to be uploading as much information as I can here. However, yesterday I uploaded on my Patreon something that I can never upload on this platform. So if you want to go there, I have a lot of great content that I can never put here. And my work as far as my multiple series on the Wexy person and all of the different information, including the Beatles. Again, I am doing a massive deep dive on the Beatles because it connects back to the Wexy person via the Abercrombie and Fitch Mike Jeffries link. Okay, guys, I am going to get started with my weekend. I hope yours is a great one. Thank you. Bye.